Welcome once again to this edition of INCIBE. It's without a doubt a challenge to be here with all of you, the industry of cybersecurity, national industry. I hope you are committed to impulse, promote, and to make Spanish one of the international references. I want to say good morning to all of you, from the ones who are from Canada, from South America. Good morning to all of European colleagues also.
Good morning. And
also good evening to all of those who are from Asia. Today, we cannot start any event without talking about the COVID-19. It's without a doubt an event that has pointed out before and after in our lives. Until today, it's a challenge, a global challenge when it comes to maintenance of telecommunication infrastructures, health infrastructures, education, and defense infrastructure towards this health crisis. From every new challenge, there's also a rising new opportunities, especially in this digital situation forced by the pandemic. I'm really convinced what all of you, we know what's the continuity plan of business, but I'm also convinced that none of you knew that one of the challenges would be a pandemic. We did such a big effort to reconvert our business situations to continue our jobs. We had to send all of workers to go to work from their houses. We had to innovate and to reinforce our capacities of response towards new attacks, new knowledge, and new situations. Today, more than 6 months later, we are still facing new challenges, but we have demonstrated that we can and that we must be in the center of the reconversion of our industry, also our jobs, the education, and also health. As Carmen Artigas has mentioned, the future of digitalization is from all of us. Security is part of every political agenda, and this situation from the pandemic has shown that in many SMEs they don't have any digital resources, so it's necessary to reinforce these capacities. So it means a very big opportunity for our industry. As Karma said, the digital agenda in July, it has a specific chapter with the 4 axes of situation and actuation. We want to promote this digital agenda because our industry is a key for this. So we're going to go over briefly the actions executed in these later months and the opportunities we have to face in this 2021. The internationalization of our industry is key. For many of you, I had the opportunity to meet you in San Francisco in the RSA, the first event in the industry and the only one physics before the pandemic, because I am the last pre-COVID employee of this situation. There were more than 6,000 participants. Spain has an only pavilion for it, and we had an agenda in parallel that promoted the knowledge of success cases of Spanish enterprises which are operating in the North American market, and also favoring the networking to know the representatives, the CISOs of the most important industry of Spain. We have delayed this in May 2021, so we hope there's going to be really beneficial situations for all of you to be there, to find each other. I hope we are not 20, but even more. In this moment, we already been talking with a hotel chain in San Francisco so that it is the headquarters of the Spanish delegation there. I hope we can be there, present in person, because it will be a signal that the pandemic is over. During these months of pandemic, also leveraging this time of pause, we did a specific training of cybersecurity of the offices in more than 20 countries, presenting the industry and giving them the keys so that they could attack attract international buyers. This has translated in a success. We have more than 30 buyers from 20 countries, and the industry is represented by more than 50 international representatives. 50 national, 3 international. Last year, we only had 9 international buyers, so we have multiplied by 3 this data. And from here, we can only say we want you to have really successful meetings, and these days are going to be really intense, and we hope that the next year we can celebrate this international expansion, that you are present in person in these countries that are representing today as buyers. And moving on to what Rosa and also the Mayor of León and the Secretary of State talked about, the collaboration public-private. It's a main pillar in the development of the industry. And from INCIBE, we want to share with you the specific actions we are developing for this. To identify this gap between the offerings and the demands. With the buyers of this demand with public and private sector, we have detected that there's a gap of perception of what the industry wants and what the buyer wants. So from INCIBE, we are working in closing this gap so that we have an active collaboration between them, because cybersecurity is a strategical element for the countries, the enterprises, and so having an technological independence is necessary to avoid situations we have lived in this pandemic. For those of you that didn't participate in this query and request, we want you to write to INCIBE.es. The survey, it's anonymous, and we want you to know which is the perception you have to close this gap. Cybersecurity for Castilla and León, it's necessary to improve the region we're working in. Under the agreement that we have between INCIBE and ICE, we have worked together in identifying 4 challenges of cybersecurity where INCIBE is the challenger. From May, we've been working in the definition of these 4 challenges, and the model of innovation adopted for these challenges, it's the public purchase, pre-commercial public purchase. From these 4 challenges, challenge number 2, it's to detect in the domains. It's the first challenges that we are going to launch to tender in November. The publication of the documents and requests is going to be in a webinar, which you're invited to see all of the details. This process of public tender has 2 stages. The first one is investigation and research, which will have more than 4 bidders, and with more than 250,000 euros, and it's going to be more or less 4 months, 6 months. And the second one, it's also going to be 6 months, and the 2 bidders had the 2 best situations are going to be the finalists. The challenges 1, 3, and 4, we forecast that they are going to be, the requirements are going to be shown by the end of this year, and the bidding is going to be published by the beginning of the next year. So we invite you to read about this, to research about this, and also the enterprises on the industry and that we are launching from anything. From INCIBE, we are also promoting this program to the innovation using this public purchase. We will be the catalyzers between the challenges of the demand and the industry of cybersecurity and centers of research and the entrepreneurship of our relation. We will launch challenges of real cases in which there's a demand not covered by the commercial products which already exist. We want a TRL more or less of a 6 or a 7, and the first stage of new project in which we will be embarked, it's doing a test and then create internal capacities of the INCIBE to do a recurring program among this strategic plan. Other of the main collaboration actions, private, public, is the constitution July of the forum, and we are really delighted to confirm the constitution of this working group number 2, led by the Chamber of Commerce of Spain, and also with INCIBE to promote the industry and the international research. This group is going to give a response to one of the two challenges, number 3, the protection of the entrepreneurial ecosystem, and number 4, its culture and commitment with cybersecurity, and also empowering and promoting the technological and human capacities. This working group, it's composed by more than 20 professionals, administrations, public administrations, associations of the sector, and universities. In the following months, we will be working in the definition of these challenges for 2021, and also we will work in this agenda of actuations, in specific actuations in this working group. This working group, I can tell, it shows this collaboration between public, private sector, and how Spain wants to be a reference in an international level. As we have mentioned already before, it is also important the efforts that we are doing from all of the areas of the government and associations when it comes to digitalization of our productive sector, made basically by the SMEs and the micro SMEs and the freelancers. So we support every action that give value to the state of the cybersecurity of these SMEs, and also the capacities of empower this to support the attacks. There's more than 100 enterprises that have participated in this program. Also with Google, we have collaborated with 2 online concerts, one dedicated to work from home and also improving the online security of enterprises. The data of September are really positive, having more than between 3,000 and 4,000 participants in these programs. Also, this collaboration with international organisms like the American States Organization and the MetaRed and ANOYES for the collaboration and organization of levels in South America. Without a doubt, innovation and support to investigation is very important for our industry, and also strengthening and positioning at an international global level. So we want to give relevance to research when it comes to the collaborations we mentioned before, private, public, and also the vehicles to activate the economy, and as well as the pure part of this economy supporting ourselves in our Office of European Projects. This 2020, during the activity we've been developing, we have supported more than 30 projects with specific support letters. We have evaluated more than 14 proposals. We have followed more than 5 projects, as Gard Soter Sparta, in which later we will talk and go deeper a bit more about this test of Sparta, CyberSec for Europe, and Concordia. We have also presented a European project. INCIBE is also participant as a beneficiary of a European project called Disruptive, which is a cooperation project between Spain and Portugal that wants to promote the capacities when it comes to research from both countries. When it comes to the projects that we lead from INCIBE, we will finish 3 projects in 2020. Some of them has to be also finished by the beginning of 2021. I want to highlight the CERT that develops our capacities and the collaboration with CERT, European CERT, and also Software European Center that shows the necessities of the responsible and safe use of Internet, of the new technologies for kids and teenagers, and also Forensic, which is a forensic tool to obtain digital proofs and improves the collaboration with international police to be able to help against child sex abuse and its distribution of the content through internet. We are really proud of this project. We are participating in INCIBE and the European positioning when it comes to cybersecurity. We are the leaders. We are the first country in the program of connecting facilities, Telecom, and cybersecurity it's the first pillars with more funds of this program. When it comes to the Horizon 2020, we are really proud. We say Spain was the first countries in the stage 1 of PMS and 2 of CES with more than 1,000 projects in which Spanish enterprises participated and with more than 16% of economy coming back. What is the future of these European funds? There's 2 programs launching in 2021, Horizon Europe and Digital Europe. Both have a really relevant funds. The first one with more than 91,000 million euros. And the second one, Digital Europe, with 8,000 euros, with an 1.8 million euros in cybersecurity budget. So we'll be supporting in an active and proactive way the industry and also the researchers of our country. So now we will be talking about the entrepreneurship. During this pandemic, we have launched online 2 new programs. The first one, I love the name, it's INCIBE Inspires, in which we launched these online conferences for these curious minds that wanted to listen about these challenges of cybersecurity. And we also proudly launched the alumni network, which compiles all of the participants of all of the programs, which is Cyber Emprende and Cybersecurity Ventures. This journey of inspirational journeys were divided in 3 stages. The first one taking in account the challenges, and the third one participated also investors and also cases of success from Spain. In these journeys, there were more than 285 people, young people, senior people, every age, with a difference of gender of 33% of feminine participation, which is really important now to take this in account. And they were represented mostly every autonomous community in Spain and 80 international participants. Once finished these journeys, we launched the challenge of all of those who had an idea, a different idea. They could present its idea to INCIBE to be able to evaluate this. And from these participants, 23 have already presented a project to INCIBE. We want to prize the innovation, the maturity, the idea, and they are now all of candidates to be participating in the following Cyber Emprende Cyber Venture. The technologies is very different, but with more than a 10%, it's very important that the technologies related to the services when it comes to cybersecurity, services of detecting cyber attacks, and also securities in infrastructures in OT and IoT. In the application sectors, as you can see, they vary a lot, but we have a 25% of education and training, 22% of entrepreneurial ecosystem, and 17% focused on the public administration. From INCIBE, we also trust the entrepreneurship. We know this is the engine of our country, and we want to announce the publication of the basis of venture. They are going to be published the 23rd of October, and they are going to be valid until the 21st of March. So we invite you to all of the entrepreneurs that you have the product ready to present your projects to this new edition of Cybersecurity Ventures. Congratulations to these 3 enterprises, these 3 startups. Later we will have some of them, Auth USB, IronChip, and Kimatio, who, despite this 2020 and pandemic, they have grown and they can take their startup to the following stage. That's proud from INCIBE, so congratulations. Congratulations also to these 3 participants that during the pandemic process they have get some really important rounds of funds, and they have international presence in many markets and difficult markets like the American, the Israel market, the English market, or any other from the Middle West. From the Red Alumni, it's a new project in which we want you to feel proud to have participated in our programs, and we also wanted first to evaluate the quality quality of the programs. 83% of the participants, they want to highlight the collaboration with the ethics when it comes to the internationalization, the support to their startup. The second, because we want to be the center of entrepreneurship at an international level. And despite the 78% are really good, we want to be excellent. And the third one, we want to channel all of the relevant information of the cybersecurity industries and investors through this Red alumni to be able for all of you to leverage these opportunities we are presenting. And of course, we want you to know that we are proud of you. When it comes to talent, one of the biggest demands of our industry, we are not able to find talent enough to be to cover all of these job positions. So from INCIBE, we have created this ecosystem to identify and attract talent, collaborating with universities, with public administrations, with public institutions, and also private, and with universities. And now we wanted to focus especially with 4 initiatives. The first one is the program with the Ministry of Defense, SAPROMIL, through the name, which is called Strategy, which foments the works and jobs of any kind of military body, and in which INCIBE participates to support the capacitation and training. And in these last 3 years, there's been more than 600 alumni, and there's today more than 200 students per year, and we train them in specific topics like forensic analysis, cybersecurity in the industrial side, and cybersecurity in telephones. Many of them already, like around 30, they were also to participate in the summer bootcamp. The Foundation ASTIA, through the Go, they have the objective to develop between women this program in which I am mentor and I invite to all of you to participate in it. It is focused on that girls and young women, they show interest and that they study in scientific university. They are being mentored by women who already work in the scientific industries, and to promote this attracting of talent towards this industry, we wanted to launch Lola INCIBE. So for that, more than these 500 girls who are already inscribed, they can be trained in the capacities of cybersecurity. It will have 3 levels: the level Explorer, Hacker Junior, and Hacker Pro. And I'm sure that that's going to be, it could be very difficult for me to learn about that. Fundae, through the Fundación Estatal, to training for employment, the Digitalizate tool, they do online courses, and we also participate in cybersecurity class. And from this moment, we have had more than 106,000 students. And later, the foundation Good Job, I'm going to talk about this a little bit more. So Good Job Foundation has as a goal to train in cybersecurity handicapped people. We have finished with this first edition with 42 students from Madrid, and now 25 from these students, they are already working in an active way. And we also want to highlight the included enterprises. So thank you, Atos and Telefónica. They have acquired the commitment of hiring in between 5 and 10 students from this course, and the collaborator enterprises who want to hire between 1 or 5 students or give funds to the program, or also give to this program maybe trainers, teachers, or any technological resources so we can carry it out. This training, it's intense, it's tough. So these students have done a really good work. It's about 5 weeks. The first one, it's about general security. Second, it's perimeter security. And from the third one to the fifth one, the students, they choose 3 technologies to train about. We have Cisco, Fortinet, Microsoft, and Palo Alto. So they are always with teachers, with tutors, which participate from INCIBE, from Telefónica, from Microsoft, Palo Alto. So we also want to say thank you to these tutors for their commitment, and also thank you for the enterprises to be committed with this program. But we have some news. We have a second edition of this Includer program, which already started in September and it's going to finish this week. In this edition, as we had to do it online, once again, there's 60 students from 4 regions, Madrid, Barcelona, and Castilla and León, and also from the north of Spain. We have more than 30% of women participants, and we also launched yourself the challenges of convert yourselves into Includer enterprise to give a job to all of these people. So I wanted to finish my speech with a sentence from the Nobel Prize García Márquez. Life, it's only a succession of opportunities to live and to survive. So let's leverage these moments of unknowledge and take the opportunities we are facing to improve and to position the Spanish industry where it's worth to be. So everybody with the industry, and thank you.